Hello sailing fans. 2013 Palma Regatta World Cup of Sailing. We're here just ahead of the first race of the theater style final for the 49er class. We're in for a real treat today. We've got 4 races on the schedule with 8 boats in the race. And let me introduce you to them. On the far left, that's our gold medalist, Jonas Warner and Peter Lang. They're in 6th position heading into the day. Second boat in, that's the Spanish Paz brothers. 5th place going into the day. Behind them in 2nd place is Dave Evans and Ed Powes from Team GBR. Here's our leaders, Eric Heil and Thomas Plosel. Those guys have been amazing the last few days. They won 4 of the 6 Gold Fleet races, and they've been on fire, great boat speed. Just behind them in 4th place overall are the 2012 European champions, Jan Rochereau and Matthew Frey. Finally, we've got our 2012 Olympic bronze medalist, Alan Norgard, and new crew Anders Thompson. And the 8th boat in the fleet is Brits Stevie Morrison and Ben Rhodes, Olympians in 2008 and 2012. So it's an all-star lineup. It's a tightly packed field and lots to play for. It'll be interesting to see how the guys handle these conditions. And we're looking forward to some excellent racing. We've got just coming up on a minute to go to the start. I'm here in the coach boat today with Max Lutz of Sailing Team Germany. And he's going to be helping out, get us in good position, and share his observations of the race course. Max, we just finished the women's final. We saw some shiftiness and some puffiness. What do you think the men will be doing here to start out?
I think some of them have had some experience of theater style racing at Gouda, so it might get a little bit tighter, especially because the course has not been any longer. The races will be a little bit shorter than the girls' races. And so far we don't see anyone, well, 2 boats actually starting on port probably.
Yeah, we got
the rest of the fleet is lining up for a starboard start.
Jonathan Bay and Stevie Morrison here, both looking for the port tack option starts. 6 boats on looking for starboard starts. Real tight action there actually. We see the French, Frey and Rochereau, double tacking underneath our leaders, Isle and Plosel. There goes Dave Evans underneath the group. He's gonna try and pick up the pin now. That's Dave Evans and Ed Powes. Oh, and they're either early or gonna have to do something. No, they're right on time as you'd expect from these guys. Little dip, there's go. Good start from the whole fleet. Wow, that's tightly packed. Morrison off to the far right, on his hip, Jonathan Bay, Alan Norgard. And here's first tack from Dave Evans. He's obviously not happy with his position. He's had to tack underneath already. Looking good for Jan Rochereau and Matthew Frey. They're taking quite a high line here, hoping, I guess, for some room to tack at this lane boundary.
I hear it's calling the room to tack.
Called for room to tack. They've had to pass it along 3 ways. All 3 boats tack simultaneously. Heil and Plosel in a really tough spot there, but they had an excellent tack. You can see them extending their arms to try and get a little extra leverage, but it's going to be tough. They've got the Paz brothers on the lee bow, and that probably is not going to work out for them. We got the first tack now. We're going to have Morrison and Rhodes coming back against the French. This first cross is often a very important part of the race. Let's see if Rochereau and Frey can get across, and by my eye they do. What do you think, Max? Yeah, they're through. So they've got the first tack, and when they come back, they'll be on starboard next time. So that's a good lead for them. We saw them, they're somewhat of theater-style experts, having come from 6th to win the 2012 Europeans on the final day, and here into the lead on the first race of the day. Morrison and Rhodes into their tack. They're outside the 2 boat length circle, no doubt they're looking from that. And then we've got Norgard crossing Morrison and Rhodes, so he's had a nice comeback. We're down a boat. I don't know if that Dane is Warner. I assume that's Jonas Warner, but where's Jonathan Bay? Jonathan Bay was our 8th qualifier. And he's missed the first race somehow. There's a boat below the start line, a Danish boat below the start line. So we're only 7 right now. Anyways, let's get back in the race. Here is Matthew Frey and Jan Rochereau on the ley line. Coming into the top mark, they're going to get this top mark first, and got a decent lead here. considering how short this beat is. Inside tack. Oh, that's really tight from Norgard and Warner. Our Danish medalists. Norgard is our bronze. What's the jury doing? Jesus. Late hoist there from the Danes. Beautiful set and extending here from Jan Richaud and Matthew Frey. Jibe set from the Paz brothers. They're looking dangerous. They were looking really dangerous in last year's final until they got wiped out and thrown off their boat by a foul from the Irish, Seaton and McGovern. So they're looking for redemption this time. Beautifully powered up. Look how powered up these boats are. We saw the FX girls, the 49er FX fleet, riding a little more bow up. These guys have got all power on and the right end already into the leeward marks. That's a quick lap for these guys. There's Jonas Warner and Peter Lang. Peter Lang was the bronze medalist with Alan Norgard in London, now teamed up with 2008 gold medalist Jonas Warner. So in through second, they're doing nicely. Alan Norgard looks like he'll be able to pull through into third, although the Paz brothers have held him out on starboard, so they'll have to change marks that they're going to. Tight racing there. Oh, Morrison and, oh no, that's Dave Evans asking for room, and they've given room, I think. We'll see if they're, oh, they don't have their kite down though. Big mess between the Paz brothers.
They've crashed.
Oh, they've crashed. They're hung up on each other, aren't they? Yeah. So that's allowed Alan Norgard to escape here to the close side. Both boats separate on the far side, but that'll cost them quite a bit of distance. And then coming to this close side, just stay here, Max. We've got round through in 6th position, Morrison and Rhodes, and then in 7th position. 7th position is our leaders, Heil and Plosel. They've got a 13-point lead, which is a really significant lead in this kind of racing. But if they drop 7 points to right away, then that'll put them under some pressure. Let's see if they can get a couple boats back. Morrison and Rhodes in for their attack. Really experienced campaigners, these two, looking dashing in their orange shoes. So
the Paz brothers are doing 360.
Paz brothers doing a 360. Okay. For not enough room at the leeward mark. Unfortunate for them. We see, so they've gone from what, 2nd place through to last in a very short amount of time. It's really tight racing here. Here comes Dave Evans and Ed Powes. They got held up on that leeward mark for 3rd place, and they're back in the rhythm now. These guys have had a really excellent Gold Fleet Series, and a little drop of the tiller there from Dave, but they're in such good balance that it didn't matter. That was pretty spectacular, actually. Up in the lead, we've had an extending from Frey and Rocheroux.
And I think Highland first left managed to recover the middle and overtake 3 boats.
You're right, they have. They rounded the bottom marks in last, and they're already mid-packet in 4th. So just doing their boat handling right, and a couple mistakes from both Evans and the Paz brothers have seen Eric Hale and Thomas Plosel move right back to a spot they need to be to protect this lead. 4 races, there's only a 28-point maximum difference. So if they can chisel away early and keep some of those points, then or knock some of those points off early, then they shouldn't have any problem. Speaking of not having any problems, this crew is looking fantastic. Beautiful Seiko kite there, all backlit by the sun. It's still pretty close here. Warner and Lang aren't giving up, so they're going to try and get the right lanes and close the gap. There's still 1 more lap to go in this race. Good boat handling all around, not a lot of pressure. When it's not that close, these guys will execute perfectly almost every time. Alan Norgard and Alders Thompson looking splendid with their Danish flag spinnaker from the Olympic Games. And here goes through Eric Heil and Thomas Plosel. Really nice jibe there from Eric Heil. He went right the way to the rail and turned a little more aggressively than we've seen some of the other guys do. So, little bobble there from Morrison and Rhodes. Dave Evans tries to pounce on it, but they get through. We won't see too many mistakes at this early stage until the guys get a little more tired, is my guess. Eric Heil staying aggressive. He's going to the opposite mark. So a little extra bit of boat handling and trying to score some extra opportunity. All the other leaders are moving into the square and straight setting, one driving, and then going to the far boundary. So making their boat handling as simple as they can. Eric Heil taking the slightly more tortured route up the course in hopes of extra passing opportunities and clean wind. Let's see how they do on this tack.
I don't think it paid off though, because the Brits, they rounded after him and they looked for kind of, maybe even a little bit ahead, but he's pointing really high now, so maybe that works.
Yeah, let's see. Not a great tack there from Norgard on the far side. Really good tack here from the German, and he looks like he's gained quite a bit. Looks like he's even in contention with Jonas Warner now. So Eric Heil is showing the fleet. Not only is he good when he gets ahead, but he's got the legs to come back from behind as well, because he is putting Jonas Warner under a lot of pressure now. He might even have an overlap here coming into the top mark to be able to call for room. Jury paying close attention to that encounter. There's Matthew Frey and Jan Rocheroux on the ley line. They've got a bear away and a fairway away set and jibe away from winning this race. Meanwhile, Eric Heil's had to reach off to get room to tack there, so he wasn't able to hold out Jonas for the whole way up, and Jonas has protected his position thus far. Here's our leaders. Meanwhile, back. Oh, Eric Heil a little bit sticky on that hoist, so Jonas has got away. And right at the windward ley line there, Morrison looks in the British boat just rolling Dave Evans and Ed Powes. Dave Evans and Ed Powes have the blue sponsor sticker on their sail. So Morrison and Rhodes making a pass on Dave Evans. And now Alan Norgard here in fourth. That's the wind, straight set through the finish line. So either the breeze has come up or it shifted a little bit.
I think it has shifted.
Yeah, that's what we saw with Eric Heil being able to make the pass and get into third place, isn't it? He took that shift wonderfully and turned that into a third place. And the rest of the fleet will hoist and get through. Unlucky there for Carlos Paz and his brother Anton. Thought they got through the leeward mark, but just didn't give the Brits, Dave Evans and Ed Powes, enough room. Ended up getting called for the penalty. That's why they're down in last place. And we'll look forward to seeing an eighth boat and join us for this race with Jonathan Bay and Chris Thorslow. And that's the race.